Today is episode 6, and we are talking about how to know if your goals are propelling you forward. Hey love, you're listening to the Mums in Biz show and I'm Victoria. Every week I bring you the unvarnished version of what it means to be a mum running a brilliant business, what you need to be doing to get it to where you want it to be, and a healthy dose of how to get the heck out of your own way. Let's dive in. Well, hey there, ladies, and welcome to the Mums in Biz show. Today is episode 6, and we are talking about how to know if your goals are propelling you forward. I hope that you are looking forward to hearing about how you can be moving forward with your goals. This week, this is a subject that is very, very close to my heart. I am a goal setter from way back. Yes, I am a goal setter from way back, and I firmly believe that they make a massive difference to how we perform in any area of our life. But I am willing to bet that you have had periods of hands down dedication to nailing your goals and periods of absolute lazy despondency where you can't even bear to think about them. Hands up if you can relate, because I know that I have been and regularly get into both of those places. So today what I want to talk about is some insights around goal setting that I have and from my 20 years in business and coaching and working with people and helping them be the very best that they can be. And you might be just a little bit surprised at how unproductive the wrong goals can be for you. How on earth do you know if your goals are propelling you forward? So what I'm going to do is start with some questions, and I would love to get some comments from you as I'm asking them. Let me get your reflections. So what thoughts and emotions come immediately to mind to you when you think about goals? How do they make you feel? When was the last time you hit a goal exactly as you planned? There's a lot of times we don't hit our goals, hey, but how you think about that is important. How do you feel about whether you hit a goal or not? Do you feel despondent? Do you feel like a failure? Do you have a whole bunch of negative emotions coming up around that? Or is it an opportunity? Have a really honest think about how you feel about that. How much thought do you put into your goal setting? Do you randomly assign goals? Are you it's 12:01 on New Year's Eve and I'm going to set some New Year's resolutions kind of person? Or do you have a whole planning process that you put down to get to the goals that you want to achieve? Why do you set out to achieve your goals? What is it that propels you forward? Some people don't think very heavily about why they're hitting a goal, but it's super important for them to achieve it. And some people need a really strong reason. And why do you even set goals? What is it that you're trying to achieve by setting goals in your business and in your life? What is it that you're trying to achieve? See, what I've found, both for myself and in working with my clients and my coachees over the years, is that goal setting can actually be a limiting experience. And what I mean by that is that the headspace, the mindset that we bring into the way that we set goals for life and in our business or in your career, depending on whatever it is that you're setting goals for, the mindset that you bring to it, the way that you approach the upper limit of your goal, and more importantly, the way that you approach whether you do or don't achieve that goal can set in stone limiting beliefs that you don't realize are there that are going to continue to hold you back. So just think about that for a second and let me give you an example. Let's say you set yourself a fitness goal and you decide that you are going to change up the way that you're eating. You're going to get some different habits in place. You want to lose a certain number of kilograms and you want to exercise 4 times a week. And you set yourself out this goal and you're going to lose X kilos, let's say 5 kilos and you want to do that in the next 8 weeks. And you just pop it all down. You're like, yep, I'm going to restrict my calories. I'm going to eat these things. I'm going to avoid whatever, and you set this goal. How many times do we see a fitness goal through? Some people are excellent at it. I myself am not often very good at it. I am better now that I know what my drivers are around health and wellness. But often we get to that 8-week period. Maybe we've fallen off the wagon about week 3 because that's when it really starts to get hard. Week 1's a novelty and determination because we've told everybody that we're on this health kick. Week 2, you're starting to probably see a few results because you've lost all of your water weight and you've got some stuff shifting and it hasn't gotten too painful yet, but it's starting to get a little bit tedious. Week 3, someone invites you out for drinks and you fall off the wagon. Some of you get back on it within a couple of days and some of you don't get back on it, and that's the end of that. But you get to week 8 for those people that do stick with their plan to hit this goal. And maybe you've lost 4.5 kilos or 4 kilos. And we sit there and we think, well, I haven't hit my goal anyway. And hands up, how many people have really started to get this belief of, well, diets don't really work for me. Diets aren't fun. I hate exercising. I'm no good at doing things regularly. I can't stick to portion sizes. Is any of this ringing any bells for you? Because all of these are limiting beliefs and they all come from our experience as we try to achieve that wellness goal that we have set for ourselves. And as you embed those limiting beliefs into the back of your mind, it gets harder, doesn't it? Each time we set a health goal, it's like, oh, this is just going to be a pain and all I really want to be doing is XYZ, or having that glass of wine or eating that piece of cake, and we come at it from a mindset of deprivation. It is no different when you set goals in your business. Because we still come out with this, I'm not good at X. Maybe you didn't hit the monthly revenue goal. And maybe you had set that goal around selling a particular product. And maybe you walk out of that with a mindset of, I'm no good at selling. How many of you have a mindset that says you're no good at selling? Or you don't like selling? Or it's one of those necessary evils of business? All of those things sit in your subconscious and they start to limit what is actually possible for you. And so we end up with this slightly, whether you realize it or not, you've got resistance to even setting good goals. And for some people that manifests in them not really setting goals that are powerful, or we follow each trend of goal setting and, it's all very good and well to set yourself massive goals. No goal is achievable if you're not really connected to it. And so that's what my point is for you today. Setting connected goals, I believe, is a skill that every entrepreneur needs to learn. And as mums, I actually think that it's even more important because I think that we need to learn how to tap into those truly connected goals, because why the heck would we take time away from all the other things that we do in our lives if we don't really believe in it and if we don't really think it's necessary, and if we don't understand or don't feel truly connected to the outcome that it's going to create for us. Does that make sense? Another way of thinking about it is, if you don't know where you're going, how the hell are you going to set a plan to get there? But I think that this is even more important for us as mums in business. The more I talk to clients and other women who are mums who are in their own businesses, we need that connection. We are striving to make an impact through our business, Yes, for ourselves and our families and our time with our children, we want to be setting a different example for our children. We want to make a difference in the lives of the people that we are working with and for and serving through our businesses. And that is why having connected goals is really, really critical for us. You cannot fool your mind into thinking that you believe in yourself if it's not true. And so if you persevere with the goal setting processes that you've been using and not stop to think about it in a different way and to challenge those limiting beliefs that you have, then you're probably just going to keep doing the same thing and you're probably going to keep getting the same outcome, because what got you here will not get you where you want to go. And anybody who follows James Wedmore will have heard him say that before. I absolutely am loving listening to him at the moment. What got you here will not get you there. Okay? All right, so here are my tips for you for setting really impactful goals. Where are you going to start? First off, I think that when you start with what you really want, the rest really starts to flow. So this means your ideal life. It means your vision for where and how and who you're going to be with and what you're going to be doing and how you're going to be living that life. And if you have followed me at all, you will know that I talk about this a lot and that I think this is the foundation for having a truly connected business, because you need to know how your business is going to help you achieve that. So start with what you really want. Now, ideal life is a really, really big picture. If you're talking about smaller goals, then it may be that you're starting with where you want to be in 12 months. That's fine. But what I'm saying is this process is all about starting with that absolute end in mind, and it doesn't just need to be a business end. In fact, I encourage you to make it really holistic. So for the purposes of this example, we're doing big goal setting. When you start with what you really want, the rest just flows. Start with your ideal life. So have you sat down and worked through what that looks like for you? You could do it verbally. You could do it thinking. I really encourage people to write it out or type it out. I think there's something really organic about sketching out what that future looks like for you, like physically writing. It's quite a powerful process and thing to go through. And just imagine what that ideal day looks like. What are you doing? When do you get up? What time do you spend with your kids? Are you free to take them to school? Do you do some work? Don't you do some work? How do you make those choices? Where are you living? What does that look like? Are you traveling? All of those sorts of things form a part of that ideal life vision. So the second point then is, once you know what that thing is that you're aiming for, what needs to happen to get you there? So sure, yes, this is partly financial, but what else needs to happen? When goal setting becomes really, really powerful, it's when you think about it in a holistic manner. We will eventually get to a measurable financial and time-bound goal in your business, because that's ultimately what being in business is about, is making an impact of some description, and there is always some financial element to that. But who do you need to be to reach that point? What does your business need to look like? This is all about being the CEO and the truest version of yourself. So these are the sorts of things you want to be thinking about in terms of what needs to happen to get you there. What things need to be in place to make that a reality? To give you an example, with my ideal life, most of you know that that means that we're living in the hinterlands of the Dandenongs in Victoria, and we have a little bit of land, and we've got the ability to have lots of family time with extended family. The things I needed in place for that to be a reality: I needed to be living in Victoria. I needed to have the ability to work from home. I needed to have flexibility around our family situation. And so all of those things were things that we needed to put in place. And half of those I've already put in place because I've worked out that they were independent to my business. And you can do that too. So there are many things that are not about the money in your business. There are many things that are about the money that your business is making. But what about the other things that need to happen as well? Do you need to make a change in your life? Are you traveling? Are you in a career? Are you full-time in your business? Are you part-time or hands-off in your business? Map out what are all those things that need to happen to get you to that ideal life. The third thing I want you to think about is what mindset shifts do you need to make in this goal setting process? Because that can be super, super important. And those mindset shifts are probably going to get in the way of you achieving your goals anyway. If you know what it is that you're trying to shift, then you can make that part of the process of getting there. That would also be about challenging your limiting beliefs. And then the final point is where you start to get into the nitty-gritty of goal setting. What does your yearly plan need to look like to make all this happen? Now, remember, we've got our big picture here. We've brought that down. We've gone, okay, well, these are the things that I need to have in place to make that happen. These are the things that I need for that to happen. I know what mindset shifts I need to be working on. I know where things are starting to hold me back. All right, so this year, this is where I think I'm going to get to. What are the things that you need to be doing independently to your business to make that happen? For me, that looked like making some changes in how I was working in my corporate job. That looked like making some changes to the commitments that I had outside of work. Certainly, that meant setting up my new business. All of those things, that last one's not independent to my business, but it's not the financial goal that I'm about to talk about. And so it also meant finding my community. It meant getting things up and running in terms of my networks in Melbourne because we were new here. They were all really important for this year for us. And then I also sat down for this next step and worked out what does my business need to deliver this year. And this is where you start to get down to the nitty-gritty. That might look like some of your social following. That might look like standing up some new products or services. Ultimately, that is also going to look like a financial number. Now, there needs to be a reason for why you're going to hit that number. Anybody who was in my challenge recently, you would have come across this, and certainly I'll be covering this in my free masterclass. So you want to sign up to work through that in a bit more detail. I don't have time to go through all of it here. But it means that if you're super connected to the financial goal that you set and you have a reason for setting that number in place, then you have the motivation and you have the drive to be able to reach it. If you arbitrarily set a number, then it is highly unlikely that you're going to reach it. So let me give you an example. I set a really big goal in my business. It was a financial goal, and I did it because I felt like I should. And I didn't put a lot of thought into it. I just kind of whacked a number out there, fell in love with some of the stories that you hear from people online and went, yes, I'm going to do that. But it didn't feel right. And I was a bit floundery, frankly, in terms of getting to that next step I'm going to talk about in a minute of, what that looked like, broken, chunked out. And it wasn't until I sat down and went, okay, I'm going to follow my own process here. We're all very good at teaching and not always very good at doing things that we tell other people to do. So I followed my own process and I wrote down and went, okay, these are the things that I want to be able to financially deliver around, or use the outcome of this goal to financially deliver. And it came up with a number that was about 50% of that original number, but it just felt right. You know that feeling in your gut where you're like, yep, that is what I need to hit. That's going to be absolutely game-changing. I know exactly what I'm going to do with all of that money, and it's all really impactful for my business and my clients and my family, and I just felt super connected to it. That's what I'm talking about through this process, is getting to that level of discipline and accuracy with your goal setting. And so you know what your business needs to deliver this year. Then you just need to work out what does it need to deliver in the next 90 days. And then you put a plan in place to make that happen. And I will teach you how to do that in my masterclass. But ultimately, now you've got a goal for the next 90 days, which is only 3 months. And that is something that I teach. I recommend that you start to get into the habit of having a goal for each 90-day set. There are 4 lots of 90-day goals in each 12-month period. And it's just a really good chunk of time to be able to get some momentum up and hit a goal. because we all kind of have this slightly, it takes time to get momentum moving when you're starting on a new process. Now, goals can flow into each other. It's not like you have to start fresh at the start of each 90 days. But when you're kicking this off for the first time, it's gonna take time to get your momentum moving. And so that's why I recommend that you chunk your goals into 90 days to hit that 12-month goal that you've set. Tangible, measurable goals that are intrinsically linked with where you truly want to go are so powerful. They really are. Because what would you do to make all of that happen? I would do just about anything. I would change any mindset that I need to. I would do the hard work of challenging my limiting beliefs. I would do the hard work to help my family understand what it is that I'm doing, and to build my community and bring you guys with me, because I desperately want that ideal life. I really believe in it. It's something that is tangible and true for us as a family. And so, as I mentioned earlier, the other thing that I want you to think about and take away from this show is what happens if you don't hit a goal is just as important as what happens when you do. Okay? And so the biggest thing about being able to set goals in a way that makes them really connected, that means that you know what it is that you're looking for and that is important to you, and why you're going to go ahead and do the things that need to be done to achieve the outcome of that goal. But if you don't hit it, that is absolutely okay. And the faster we can learn that skill of not beating ourselves up about that, the faster you'll be able to turn that into a learning experience. Because what I have found is that when I've really been able to step into that testing mindset in my business, it has been so incredibly empowering and freeing, because nothing is ever a failure. Everything is a learning opportunity. Everything is just something that can be refined and re-implemented, and you try it again and you observe with interest the results that you get, as opposed to feeling despondent about them. Can you see how that could be really powerful? Like it feels like a really small difference, but it's not. It's a massive difference in terms of how each goal makes you feel. And so then we never talk about not being on track to hit our goals anymore, because we are exactly where we need to be in our businesses, and it's up to us. You and I, we each make choices every day about how we feel about things and what we're going to do with each new piece of information that has come our way. And so that means that not hitting a goal just means that maybe that wasn't actually the right goal. So get a little bit deep, use some reflection time, and really think about what you could have done differently. What are your learnings? What worked amazingly well that you need to take forward? Sometimes the things that worked amazingly well weren't even planned. Make sure you make note of those so that you can leverage those in your business as well. So there you have it. That is my approach to setting goals that will propel you forward no matter what, because it turns them into a positive learning experience every single time. I promise you that when you start taking this process seriously and making it your own, you will really see a shift in how you move forward in your business. And that's a wrap for today's episode. If you enjoy listening to the Mums in Biz show, I would love for you to leave us a review on iTunes, and be sure to post a snap of you enjoying the show on Instagram and tag me at nicole.tuerick. You can also join in the conversation with me in the Mums in Biz tribe on Facebook. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of the Mums in Biz show.